Hi everyone. I'm excited for today's video. Um, Welcome to my channel. um, so to start off, um, just a quick haul, I guess. But I received this 2 days ago off of Etsy, and it's the Jurassic Park manuscript, and it's lengthy, of course, because it's a movie. 151 pages, and these are some of the cast and crew signatures. If I remember correctly, well, this is definitely Sam Neill Grant, Dr. Grant. This one here is, I forget her name, but the granddaughter of, why am I blanking? Of course, I know Hammond. Of course, I know the characters' names and stuff, and then when I get on to film, I know no one's name. That's how it works. Excuse me. Okay, hi, I'm back. My mom woke up and needed something. So, my inner child is really happy with this. Like I was saying, this one is the granddaughter's name. This guy right here, I love his drawing of a T-Rex. He is the, animatronic, guy on the set. And of course, this is Hammond's, actor, Richard. I forget who else is on here. Oh well. Yeah, it's nice. A bit thicker back. I've read a page of this. But the thing is that it's a bit, like, bent, as you can tell. My mom said just send it back. I'm like, no. Because I don't want to risk it again. Because it could be, worse. And if it's a bit better, then it's still bent. Anyways, I don't want to get too much into it. I'm just looking at my phone. So, there's this channel that I subscribe to, Night Willow Crafts, I believe is the order of those names or words. And she's been doing some old witchy tags. And I've been thinking of doing old witchy tags as well within the last few months, but I haven't had like the guts to do it. But now I do. And it's funny because I chose like one of the longest ones. So this is gonna be broken up into I don't know how many videos. 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. But it's Lady Grave Dancer's 77 question witchy tag. And I'm getting the questions off Mirth and Reverence's YouTube channel. She's one of the original ones, and I love her, and I miss her. She hasn't uploaded in a while. I hope she's doing okay. And I thought it'd be nice to go back and do some old witchy tags. Because, I wasn't a YouTuber when they were happening. Like, some of these witchy tags were, like, some of them were happening when I just started out. And some were a few years into the craft and stuff, so I didn't really know and practice and stuff, all that. So the first question is, and she's also literally the only one that I could find that actually wrote down the questions in the description box instead of me having to write it out, because normally I like to write out the questions, but I'm not writing down 77 questions. So, question 1, do you use runes as a written language? No, I don't. But I would like to try and start utilizing it as a language in like spells and books and stuff like that. Um, do you feel you have natural gifts such as premonitions, hearing spirits? And if so, do you think this is what led you to this path? Um, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm naturally gifted, because I don't really remember being really intuitive when I was growing up, when I was a kid, or anything like that. Um, but when I got into the craft, um, like this year, I've been pretty good at um, receiving intuitive messages and stuff. But it's the deciphering of them, which a lot of people um, like have issues with um, getting better at. But I'm pretty good at that, at getting intuitive hits, and I like it, like entering witchcraft and practicing. Like it opened. This is how I kind of view it. Like it opened me up to um, gifts, like sixth sense, um, and other abilities like that. Like now, I get these sensations on my body, like anywhere on my body, but usually it's my like forearms because that's the place that's naturally exposed. Um, so this ability started senior year, no, sophomore, no, junior or sophomore, no, junior or senior year. I think no, junior. It's junior because I was talking to a friend about it that was in school with me for that junior year, and we didn't really talk that much senior year. Okay, sorry. Um, Junior year, I've all of a sudden got this sensation to where I feel drops on my body, like it's raining, and like you know how it's just starting to sprinkle and it's just a few dots here and there, um, on your body, and I first mistaken it as that's going to rain that day, but after a few years of having the ability, like I said, it happens all over the body, and common sense kicks in, telling me that I always like if it's like my arms or head or whatever or scalp, something that is not underneath clothing, is that I always have to check it because it can actually be some sort of drop of liquid from something or somewhere. And when it's not wet, that's when I know that's that ability. And the ability that leads to that is that I can sense how strong of like a storm season and like how major our like storms are in a year. And that's funny, because this year I was getting it like crazy, and this year we had two microbursts within a span of like a month and a half. Two of them. They're rare here in Arizona, but to get two in 1 year is really rare. And so I was getting these drops on my body, like all over the place, within the last year. And so the thing is, how I start measuring it is after, like Christmas or like after December. No, like after Christmas. I that's like the new year, for this ability that um, this is like how I process it. After Christmas, if I get those feelings on my body because our monsoon season, our storm season here, is July through September. So so after that particular day or after December, if I get some feelings, then it's gonna be like less than mild, and then if it continues more over the year before our monsoon season, then it's going to get mild. But then usually, within the first, like the month before, and like 2 months into our storm season, no, so a month before and the month of the very first storm season, if it's going to be really bad, like this happened this year, it usually occurs more. But a few years back, I knew it was going to be a heavy rain season because during the first few months of the year, it was going off really big, or however you want to say it, going off a lot. That's the proper way to say it. It was going off a lot during the first like 3 or 4 months of the year. I'm like, oh my god, it's going to be huge. And that year we had a microburst big enough to where we actually got damage on our house. Our pool shed got knocked down. Our huge mesquite tree, got struck by lightning or something. And we had a few holes in our ceiling that was dripping down with water, and we had to get that done. And like a good portion of our roof, our tiles on our roof, shingles, I should say, shingles got torn off, and we had to get that repaired and get everything repaired, covered up, and hauled away and stuff. So that is my first ability. And my second ability is I literally discovered this in 2017 because that's when I opened up to deities. My very first deity was Poseidon, then Apollo, then Gaia, within the span of a few months. But that storm season was the time that I found out about this. And since it's a newer ability, I don't quite have a good grasp on it, I guess you could say, because it's been 5 years. And so I can manipulate rain and like how hard it is or how soft it rains. And I've already talked about this in a previous video, so I'm not going to go too in depth. So yeah, I can sense how bad or how strong the storm season will be, or like storms in general in my local area, and I can manipulate rain. So yeah, those are my abilities. What deity do you work with, if any, and why? Like I just said, Poseidon, Gaia, and Apollo. For Poseidon, I've always loved Poseidon. Like when we, like in like 4th or 5th grade or whenever it was, when we first learned about the Greek gods and the myths, some myths. When they would mention Poseidon or like a short bio of Poseidon, I'm like, oh my god, I love it. Because ever since I was little, I always loved the water element and sea and ocean life and stuff like that. So I've always been pulled towards Poseidon. Gaia is because I've always been pulled towards nature. So somewhat of a given. Apollo, he in 2017, like I just said, I started working with Poseidon, Gaia, and Apollo. Apollo showed up roughly a month later because I started working with Poseidon literally the last hour or the last minutes of 2016 to do a New Year's Eve uh, what is it, resolution. I did a whole list and stuff and whatnot with him and asked him to help and blah blah, buried it and whatnot. And if I remember correctly, a few of those actually were resoluted or actually came to be. So that was pretty cool. And then after that, I was going along my days and stuff, and then for like a week and a half solid, like straight, I could hear it, my thoughts saying Apollo, 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 nonstop Apollo, for like a few seconds, and then I'm like, you know what? I hear his name. Let's just do something, and I did, and now I work with him. And I can see why I would be drawn to him, or why he would want to work with me, because he's the god of art and music, and those are pretty big things in my life, especially art, because I want to be an artist for a living. And of course, I like divination and stuff like that. But yeah. Have you always worked with the same deity? I guess I basically just answered that. Yeah. Do you use any personal items in your practice? Blood, semen, tears, urine, etc. I tried to use semen once, but it didn't work. But that was a few years ago, and I don't know if I wasn't in the proper mindset for that. So I would try it again, and I would use urine and tears in my practice. Not necessarily blood, but I'm up to using these bodily fluids in my practice. And usually these things, especially urine, is used in curses, which is pretty cool. Do you do past life readings, or have you ever had one done? Who were you, or how did you die? I have not gotten a past life reading, but I have done a couple meditations that were of my past life. The very first one was with Poseidon, and he showed me that I was, in my previous life, it showed me like dying on my deathbed, and it seemed like it was on a building, like a rooftop. I don't know. It might be just a figment of my imagination, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But my dying wish was to still work with him in my next life. So now I work with him in this life. And Gaia, in my meditation, showed me. Now, to me, this seems more realistic. Because of like psychologically and stuff, I'm not super into Egypt, but like I had a small phase, so maybe, I don't know. But anyways, Gaia showed me that I was a like a slave in ancient Egypt, and I was the person who like got the water, and it was nighttime, and I was carrying a jug to like go get the water, and I was in between these buildings, and I was kind of hugging the right side, the building on the right side, excuse me. I was a few feet away from it. I was still kind of hugging it. And this guy jumps out at me behind the building. And he stabs me. You're not going to be able to see it, but like a few inches below my belly button and over to my right side. So it would, like, if you were looking at me, it would be on my left, but it was actually my right side. And he stabbed me there. And I fell down and I bled to death. Yay. Boo. And I think that might be why I don't like people touching this whole bottom area of my stomach. That's the only thing I can think of. But I've been wanting to do some more with learning about my past lives. So yeah. Um, what's your favorite magical tool? Well, my my brain is. I like that. For magical thinking and coming up with thinking creatively about spells and stuff like that. That's really cool. But my grimoire or book of shadows, pretty cool. Um, crystals are amazing. I have a lot of them, and I want to say my wand, but I've never used it. But yeah, what is a song or type of music that gets you into a witchy mood? Gosh. I don't know. I I have songs that like strike a chord with my soul, but they're not necessarily witchy. Like I have a song, a playlist on Spotify of witchy songs. Like they're not pagan witchy songs, but they're just like talking about magic and stuff by non witchcraft people. Um, hold on. Um, I found this song years ago, and it's a really cool song. Lola Blank is the artist. The Magic, and it sounds really cool and somewhat old timey. I just love the lyrics and stuff. Um, and that's like literally the one that just pops into my head. Even though it doesn't make me feel super witchy, but or doesn't necessarily get me into in a witchy mode per se. But it's the first song that comes to mind, and I really like the song. Um, but these songs that I'm going to mention don't get me into a witchy mood, but more of a pagan. It's gosh. Huh. Okay. I'm just looking them up real quick. I don't know how to pronounce their names, their band name, but they got pretty popular on like TikTok and Instagram for their song. It's the band is Heilung, Heilung. The song is called Anuwana. It sounds really cool, and it's in the video is really cool too because it shows this baby being born, and it shows the baby growing up, and the baby has horns, and I love um, the imagery of people have deer antlers. That's what I meant, deer antlers. Um, and the other song that I love from them is Narupo, and it's really pretty cool for the music video because they have like runes like on rocks and on the ground. It was pretty cool. Um, let's see. There's this another. Uh, okay. Oof. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce the. I think it's German or something. But the band is War Juna, but the English translation of the song is Healing Mountain, and it's 8 minutes and 28 seconds long, and it sounds really good. And actually, I use those three songs to get me into like a healing, feeling positives, energy and mood. Like I was feeling down one day, um, like a month and a half ago, and I decided to play all three, and I felt better. So that was pretty cool. Um, where is the most magical place you have ever been? nowhere. I say nowhere because I haven't been. I don't travel that much to go to places. I only go out to places that are like grocery shopping and Barnes and Noble and Fantasia Crystals here in Arizona, and the psychic store here in Arizona, and day-to-day places. Not because we don't necessarily have forests here where I live, but up north, in northern Arizona, there are forests. There's not necessarily any sacred sites here, so I don't really have a magical place to where I have been, which kind of sucks. What animal is your familiar, if any? I do not have any familiars, and I feel like not like a lot of these witches that say that their pet is their familiar. I don't think that's the proper like term for that, because I don't think not a lot of familiars to me are somewhat rare for a witch to have. But I've heard other arguments that kind of that I kind of believe, but I honestly forgot. So I don't think that all these witches' pets are their familiars. But if you think different, then okay. If you have a familiar, do you choose? Did you choose them or did they choose you? Like I said, I don't have any familiars, and they're kind of rare in my opinion. Sorry, I'm just moving away, getting rid of notifications. In the craft, are you best at tarot, spells, ritual, etc.? Like I said earlier, I'm really best at coming up with ideas and the creative part of coming up with spells. Yeah, and I guess that would go with spells too, in a sense, not necessarily like making them manifest. Now that just kind of makes it seem a little weak, but I'm talking about like in the moment creating the actual spell. And like I said, the ideas of thinking of coming up with spells and stuff. What in the craft do you say you are weaker at? um, Tarot. I'm not the best at tarot, and now this isn't necessarily bad, but some of my spells take a bit longer time to manifest. And now I've had some spells that were pretty fast. I was gonna say basically instant, but I think that only happened once or twice. By instant I mean like a day. So magic can work pretty fast, but some like it's a scale within a few minutes to years. Like it depends on the type of spells. So yeah. What is your most favorite part of your craft? Spell writing, divination, etc. Like I said, spell writing, coming up with ideas. What is the first tool you ever purchased? A crystal. Surprise. Yeah, I really like crystals. Um, yeah, they were the first tool I ever got. Hold on. Hi. My mom was just reminding me of something. So the last question for this part, for Mirth and Reference is, what was your first homemade tool for your practice? Sorry if you heard her. A wand, I think. And it was actually at my art therapy group. Never used it, and I don't necessarily want to use it because of my therapist. Because my therapist was art therapy teacher, and bad experience. questions with that. So, um, let's see. That's the first part from her first video. Now let me go to. I'm actually going to end this because it's 30 minutes long and my dad's on his way back from dialysis. So I'll see you next time, and I'm going to finish filming this after my dad gets home. I might split it up into 4 videos, or 3 or 4 videos, and film the other part of the questions, 17 through 40. Like I said, after dad gets home, and then answer the rest of the 77 questions Tuesday, because I like to film when my dad's on dialysis. Okay, so see you next time and have a great day.